Edie moves in, Julia meets the kids, and Roxy is out of rehab. Stay tuned, it's the Almost Family After Show.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey guys,
Hey
Happy
guys.
New Year!
Yeah, Happy New Year. And Happy
Finally.
New Year to you.
Oh, thank you.
I've seen you in a long time.
Yes, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. Welcome back to the Almost Family After Show. Tonight we're getting into episodes 9 and 10. It's Rehabilitated AF and Courageous AF in their respective orders. I'm your moderator for tonight, Princess Carroll, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Miss Bethanie G.
What's up, guys? Good to be here.
Yes, the mystery queen herself.
Master of mystery.
Master of mystery. As I mentioned, tonight we're covering 2 episodes, and the good thing is that a lot of the arcs began in episode 9 and finished in 10. So, of course, tonight we're going to get into Julia and how she learns about more of her mom's secrets, Edie and Amanda facing their first major bump, and Roxy finally standing up. I'm so excited to talk about that. Of course, we have news and gossip, our special segment, and predictions. All right, so the woman of the hour, Roxy.
Yeah.
Let's just get into her really quickly. So what did you think about her story arc in these 2 episodes?
Well, from the moment we met him, that was my suspicion.
Yes.
And I called that first thing. I was like, yeah, there's something weird about this relationship. And you could tell he was a little bit older than her too. I was just like, yeah, I think he's another gymnastics coach sleazeball, and he was, and that totally explains even further why she struggles with addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I'm not gonna lie, I felt a little bit fulfilled when that was actually part of the storyline, because I was just like, I freaking knew it.
Mm-hmm.
And I did cry at the end of the episode when it was like Team Roxy, Team Roxy, Team Roxy. I just think it's so important for people to believe victims.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying there can't ever be someone out there that's just crazy and is accusing someone of something that didn't happen, but like usually where there's smoke, there's fire.
Exactly, exactly. Especially in a situation like this, where she's gone completely off the rails. And I feel like that was just the theme of both episodes, is to no longer be a victim. We finally got to see Julia stand up to her father for a little bit. We got to see Edie stand up to Amanda. So I'm happy to just see over both episodes, 3 women finally standing up for themselves.
And I love the way they support each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a cool bond that they've all developed.
Over time.
In spite of everything they've learned.
In spite of everything.
Yeah. In some regards, I think almost has made them stronger because they just realize they choose to be there.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, we've seen Roxy's arc from the very beginning of this. She just seemed like a spoiled brat, but of course everyone has a story, and so
But like our favorite spoiled brat.
she was my favorite from the
Roxy.
get-go. She's still my favorite, and we got to see her spin out of control. But then in her spinning out of control, we got to learn the truth. So I feel like that's something we touched on in a prediction earlier in the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm happy to see her truth finally coming to the surface and see her mature. I mean, where do you think that it's going to go from here? Do you think she'll finally listen to Edie and hear what she has to say?
Yes, probably.
Hopefully.
Yeah. But I just think for Roxy, I think it's interesting when people come forward with something that they think is going to destroy them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it's what builds them up.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it'll be really cool to see if Roxy's character actually starts getting more work again and actually has more of a positive light shown on her because of her coming forward and speaking her truth and all of that.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and just before she decided to pull the trigger, we saw Nick, I think, at his worst that we've seen him. We've seen his most
He's a piece of work.
manipulative. There we go. That's the word. Moment. And I was so
Victim blames, turns it
victim
around on her.
blames. And it was just interesting that you brought up the point of as soon as she decided to step out, you think it's just going to go up from here. Part of me wondered if he knew that too, and he's known that too, and that's why he worked so hard to keep her quiet even since she made her statement. What do you think?
I mean, to me, it just played out exactly how it would. I would love in further episodes to see a microphone in this guy's face. I would like to hear what he has to say. I mean, I feel like a lot of them all have the same story, though. Is all like, it's either like they're liars or they wanted it.
Oh my gosh.
Or,
and he kept saying that.
you know, or like, you know, they wanted it. They're just unhealthy people or whatever. But it doesn't change the fact that she was a minor.
Right. And I hope that she really emphasizes that. And hopefully she'll listen to Edie, because Edie is a lawyer, you know, though her ethical code kind of varies at times. But still, she is a lawyer.
A human
Right.
first.
She
but
is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
she's
does have a law
human.
degree.
She has a law degree. So she's probably the one that you want to listen to and can really give her a good strategy and make sure that she protects herself. And I hope that they really emphasize the fact that regardless of whether or not you think that she consented, she's a minor. She cannot.
And the arch nemesis
Yes.
that married him. Did she go on to marry the guy? Nick?
No,
No, but
That
they
was-
had something.
they had a fling as well.
Yeah. So I'm really curious about that relationship because she went on public television and
Yep.
like lit her up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she thought she was walking into something like a safe place where she was going to be able to speak her story. And then in actuality, they kind of gaslit her a little bit and
Yeah.
painted her a bit as a villain and backed her in a corner and put her in just a really unfair situation.
Yeah, but what we saw in this episode is what I feel like women actually go through is you have people that women, other women who are just tearing you down and bashing
Victims.
you.
Yeah.
Victims
Yeah.
that we don't even know about bashing you, but then we got to see her finally admit her own truth, and I thought that was such a powerful moment, and to see her just come full circle and support Roxy, and I just hope that it goes up from there.
Should we get Team Roxy, like hashtag Team Roxy t-shirts made? Because I think
We
should.
should, especially for the finale.
If nothing else, we'll puffy paint them. We're going to come in finale, Team Roxy.
What's a puffy paint?
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
Generational gap. You don't know what puffy paint is?
No.
Oh, wow.
Is that what they use for windows like, on graduation day? Class of
Just-
2019.
Just when you think you're one of the cool kids. No, puffy paint is something that was an enormous phenomenon in the latter half of the 80s and into the 90s. And you would buy it at the craft store and it came in neon colors and things like that when neons were at their peak.
Oh,
So
it's
I
up
want
on
you
the
to like
screen.
picture, picture the era. It was like
Okay.
MC Hammer, Vanilla Ice. Like that was the era.
Got it. Okay, I remember these bottles. I
Salt
just
and-
didn't know
salt
that
and
was
pepper.
the name.
So it was paint, squeeze on paint for your clothes, so you could like write on your t-shirts
Gotcha.
and make like drawings and stuff.
Cool.
And it was all the rage. I had a pair of Stonewash, like kind of hammer pants,
Yeah.
and I had peace signs and flowers.
remember
and
this
all
now.
this stuff all over it. But it was like
Okay.
raised because it was puffy, so it
I
was
got it.
very 3D paint.
I remember now. It was thin, but it was still thick and puffy, hence the
Yes.
name. There
Yeah,
we go.
yeah.
All right, so hashtag Team Roxy in the puffy paint.
Yep.
We got to find it in my
Just for that, I'm probably going to bring in puffy paint.
We
because
should.
you need to know about this.
I know. I remember it now. It's just I didn't know that was the name.
Wait, may I ask, what year were you born?
1990.
Okay, well, that explains it.
Anywho. So I don't know about you guys out there. Hopefully you guys remember puffy paint, but even if you don't, we still love you.
And if you don't, you're welcome. It was an honor to share
an
with
honor
you
to
the
share.
legend of puffy paint.
Well, speaking of honor, do you have a message for our fans, whether they were born and remember puffy paint or not?
Yeah, guys, we just want to thank you so much for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. We appreciate your viewership so much. Please, no matter what form you're listening to us on, give us thumbs up, 5 stars, and comment and interact with us. It means so much to us, and it's really encouraging and fun and allows us to kind of keep doing what we're doing with zeal and keep the comments nice. We would be nice to you.
Yes, that's important as we learned from Roxy's situation. Please
Yeah.
be nice. But you guys are great
Team
anyway.
be nice, okay?
In addition to Team Roxy. All right, so from puffy paint, but we also got puffy eyes, Edie and Amanda.
Nice segue.
Thank you. Give me your thoughts, because I think that we've been on the fence with this relationship because, I mean, after all, it did start off as an affair. So what are your thoughts? We saw them have their first hurdle.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that this is the turn it took right out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just goes to show that Amanda has a lot of insecurities and was hurt in this department of loyalty. And now she's dating someone who's new to the lesbian team, right? So I think she just naturally is insecure about that anyway. And then on top of that, it's the result of an affair.
That's what I was about to ask
Which
you.
is just statistic. Like, if you are the other person and then your lover leaves their mate to be with you, you will forever think of your new partner as a cheater because that's what you know them to be. So
Yeah.
I get the insecurity. I think her wanting her to go act out a fantasy that I don't think Edie even really has was so weird to me.
Yeah.
And then really weird how it all went down. Like,
Yeah.
it was just weird.
I mean, do you think because Amanda listened to her ex and she was clearly they have a good relationship. They were sitting on the couch together and a body language was showing that there's still something between them. I feel like. Do you think that we're going to see more of that relationship in the future?
Ooh, that's a great question. I don't know. I did think it was interesting how they just brought her in like that. I mean, I think lesbian relationships are really interesting because when you break up, it's either like a frenemy or it's just a good old friend because girlfriends are just innately warm and affectionate and friendly and sincerely care about each other and are intuitive and have heightened emotion. You know what I mean? So I always think that's just an interesting dynamic anyway. But they share a child.
Yeah.
So they're obviously co-parenting really well. And that's, I think, keeping their friendship stronger. You know, maybe if they didn't have a son together, maybe she wouldn't be around so much. And then maybe she wouldn't be good friends. But it's just like any other breakup.
But why
They're
do you
around.
think she introduced something? Why do you think she introduced that idea? And I think that she possibly sensed Amanda's apprehension. But, I mean, let me know your thoughts. Why would you introduce something like that, an idea of, oh, you know what, they should really go out and explore and cheat a little bit and come back? I mean, what did you think of that? Why do you think she did it?
I don't know. I really don't have an opinion about it. I just thought it was interesting. I think it's clearly possible that maybe she just wanted to, like, stir the pot because she doesn't want her ex to be truly happy and loyal and moving on. So obviously that's possible.
It would be interesting if we found out that Amanda was a cheater and then...
Well, we know
just
she doesn't have a strong code of ethics in this
Exactly.
department.
Exactly. So maybe she had done some dirt in the past and now the ex is like, well, you know, trying to... I could just see it going in a completely different direction that I think it's actually going to go in, but... I don't know. I'm just
That
going down
would be
this
an
path.
interesting twist. I was wondering if the ex was going to eventually become friends with Edie as well. Because at the end of the day, girls are girls. Like, you just become friendly with people, and then it doesn't really matter what the baggage is. If you like each other, you hit it off, and then...
You can also be catty and competitive.
Yeah.
That's a thing, too. I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see.
It definitely will be. I mean, we'll see where their relationship goes because to me, I think this is the first real chink in their armor. And I think both of us haven't been fully on board with this, feeling like they moved a little too fast. So,
Well, there just wasn't honesty from the beginning. It was
There
kind
was
of a
no-
relationship that was built in a dark place. So
Yeah.
it was kind of hard to support it.
Yeah.
And the thing about Edie that's hard for me is she's just so persuadable.
Yes. But she has, I mean,
Like,
she's human.
it's
She has
kind of-
moments of strength.
Totally, but it's
And
kind
this
of
is
like
her
if you
blind
don't
spot.
stand for something, you'll fall for anything. I feel like that's like the motto of her life.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to have a baby? Yep, we're in love and we're having a baby. Oh, you want a lesbian relationship with me? Okay, I have a lesbian relationship. Oh, you want me to cheat on you?
I'll do that
First
too.
things, yeah, sure, I'll go cheat on you.
Yeah.
It's just weird how persuadable she is. I'm like, don't you have a mind of your own?
Well,
And she's clearly a smart girl, but
Yeah.
it seems like when she comes to her own strength and like her own person, she's so easily swayed. She's so confused.
well, I mean, I feel like there's hope because I think Julia started off in that place too. So in this episode, we finally got to see, or both episodes, we finally got to see her confront Leon now that she knows the truth. He is not her daddy. And
By the way, did you feel bad for her in that regard? That she didn't know? Like, was there any part of you that understood why he just kind of let sleeping dogs lie and didn't ever
I
tell her?
understood where he was coming from. What I thought was wrong, and this is what I was getting at, is I think that once again he dismissed her feelings, and he just said it's irrelevant. It's not irrelevant. If it's important to her, then it's important. You know, she's the one who I think should determine its relevance.
Yeah.
And it's ironic because he's been inserting himself into the lives of all his Beckley babies.
Well, it just goes to show that for someone who's in, we'll say genetics, he doesn't put much stock in it.
Well, but sometimes he
Do you know what I
does.
mean? Like, to him, he's just like, a baby's a baby.
But-
So this couple wants a baby, I can give that to them.
But he's been inserting himself into the lives of these Beckley babies. I think if that was the case, then he would have left well enough
Yeah,
alone.
that's true.
But throughout the season, he's always meddling in their affairs. Like, oh, that's actually my child.
That's true. And a lot of them he followed along the way, but
Right.
yeah.
But then with Julia, the one he actually raised, now it's about genetics. Me and Leon. Anyway, I was
I'm not
happy
gonna
that
lie, this actually somehow made Leon more human to me. Kind of humanized him a bit to me. Because I'm not saying it's right for any record. But it just went to show that he didn't love Julia because she was his, which would be a very narcissistic move, right? And he took that baby on, welcomed her, knowing it wasn't, and he loved her so much he didn't even want her to know the truth because he thought it would hurt her. So even though I think it was one of those classic doing the wrong thing for the right reasons type scenario, I don't think it was the right thing to do. I did kind of understand his perspective. It was just interesting. But also, he would have already been a practicing doctor when this happened. It's weird it
Well-
never occurred to him, like, this could come bite me in the butt.
Well, I think it's interesting because we would have to really look at the timing of the Beckley babies because so far they've all seemed about Julia's age or younger. So going to your, him being humanized point, I wonder if him doing that was out of response or just out of frustration with what happened between him and his own wife and him wanting to father all these children because he couldn't father the child that he's actually raising, which humanizes him. I still think he has a lot of issues, but
Is it determined that he couldn't?
couldn't?
Because he obviously, you were saying because he couldn't.
Because he's not her father, so he's never going to be her father. I mean, in that regard, like he's not her biological dad.
By the way, not to like hop around topics here, but how interesting was the conversation with the aunt? Like she met this aunt she didn't know, and she's telling her this totally different side of her mother that she didn't know existed, and then we find out the aunt didn't, or I guess it's her best friend, cousin. Sorry, for the record, cousin. That she didn't really like Leon all along, and that the mother was really this like super carefree, whimsical, free spirit, and she loved to dance and all this.
I mean, I don't think that I think it's great to know all aspects of who your parents are. I mean, I'm really close with my aunt, and I find out things about my mom and about my other aunt and other people that I didn't know, which is really cool. But I also don't think that she should let that cast a shadow on her relationship with her father, because her relationship with her father and how she knows him and sees him is, that's
Who
her
he is to
relationship.
her. Yeah.
Exactly. And that
I
should
agree.
be respected. But I do think that, going back to what I was saying, I would love for Leon to go get therapy. I want everyone to get therapy. I'm the biggest therapy advocate, even on my other shows. I would love for Leon to get therapy. I think that there's still something deeply wrong and I think he needs to work some things out, but I think it would be interesting to find out, hey, he did this really not because he wanted to help all these people, but really because he perhaps felt like a victim or helpless in this situation of he's fathering a child that's not biologically his own. I don't know. I think
But we
time will
won't know
tell.
unless we know who's the oldest of all the children.
That's true. That's true. I'm just going off of everyone that we've seen thus far, and there have been so many. But it'll be interesting, and I think time will tell. But I don't know. I mean, what I wanted to say, and I congratulate Julia for this, is that she stood up to Leon, and we finally got to see her take her own life into her own hands, which she's been doing slowly but surely. But I was just so proud of that moment when she told him that, no, I need to know the truth, as she decided to go find out the truth for herself. Because I think throughout the show, one thing that at least I've observed is that we just see this victimization going back and forth. And even we find out the victimizers have been victimized in a way too. But I was just happy to see her stand up. And like I said earlier, Roxy stand up at the same time. I'm so proud of these women. And I don't know what's going to happen with Edie and Amanda, but hopefully that'll light some fire under her butt to start making her own decisions too, like you said. So
Yeah, I just want her to think for herself. I think she's a very cool character, and I think there's a lot of facets to Edie, and I think she's really interesting. She's obviously beautiful. I would just love to see her kind of. It's like I feel like she thinks she's strong, but when you're strong, you're not pushed around like that. You don't let someone else dictate your thoughts. So for me, I kind of just want her to get a little backbone and kind of figure out what she wants and like do that.
Well, I'm really curious to hear your thoughts when we get into predictions. But before we get there, that is our coverage for episodes 9 and 10. Let's head into news and gossip.
AfterBuzz
All right,
TV
so we had some major news, and I really wanted to chat about it because it's interesting. Go ahead, lady.
That we have news?
Yes. It's
Am
okay.
I saying the news? I thought you were saying the news.
All right, well, the news is, if you guys haven't seen, the next
Sorry, guys.
episode is actually the finale. So there's a 2-part finale after tomorrow night, and it's going to air on Saturday, February 22nd. And it's going to be 2 episodes. It'll be episodes 12 and 13. So we won't be back yet again for another break. But we will be back on that following Wednesday, the 26th. So mark your calendars. It's going to be on Saturday, February 22nd. We'll have the last 2 episodes, 12 and 13, and that will be the season finale. We don't know if it'll be the series finale. We haven't found out if it's canceled. But yeah, so what do you think about that? I feel like they've been trying to kill the show from the very beginning.
Yes, we talk about that a bit. This is the most willy-nilly psycho schedule I've ever seen in any form of entertainment history. And it does leave me feeling like, why are they zigging, zagging us out? Like, they don't even give us an opportunity to follow a storyline. You know?
Yeah,
I'm wondering, are they trying to make viewership dwindle so that if they decide to cancel it, they'll be like, see, no one was even watching it.
I think so. I mean,
It's like, well, how could anyone watch it?
You can't help the World Series, though. Like, that's something
Yes.
that's just unexpected, and it even affected The Masked Singer. But I think the way that they scheduled it, to your point, I think it is purposeful. I mean, we had 2 episodes on Thanksgiving. Who's watching live TV on Thanksgiving? You have these last 2 episodes on a Saturday afternoon. I think they've known for a long time. I mean, if you go back, the responses haven't been very positive from the public. So I think they've wanted to cancel it, and they just needed to find a substantial way to do it. So just air it on random nights at random times, and then you'll get those low ratings that you were probably looking for.
Right, which is such a bummer for me. Kind of. I feel bad for the cast. I think they're all doing a really great job at portraying these characters, and I think it's an interesting concept and storyline that makes me a little sad. I feel like they're not giving it as much of a winning chance as they could.
I think so, and I also think I look at, obviously, the scheduling, but even more than that, I look at the writers. I don't think they did a good job of addressing and dealing with the story of what happened to these young women. And the other Beckley babies, I think they could have handled it a little better. And I think they could have really explored the issue of medical rape. I feel like they had a really cool platform and they just chose not to do anything with it. So I don't know, but like I said, Saturday, 2/22, you'll have 2 episodes, and then we'll be back on the 26th to talk about the finale. All right, so next up we have our special segment, DNA Dominoes.
DNA Dominoes. So, guys, did you know that Rashida Jones is the daughter of Quincy Jones? Quincy Jones is a huge music producer. Rashida Jones is known for Parks and Rec. She was also in, I think, the Muppets movie, too. She's been in a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, I thought that was really cool. I've learned this a while ago, but they're so cute together. You never see footage of them together. She's quoted that she says he's pretty endless in his love he has to give, and he's also known for making everyone feel like they're the most special person he's ever met.
Oh,
I know, it's cute. They seem to have a really sweet daddy-daughter relationship.
I love that. I'm really close
I
with
love
my
her.
dad. She's so funny.
Yeah, she's cute.
And I think it's really cool that her dad is Quincy Jones.
It's cool.
kinda-
I loved
yeah.
her in the Muppets when she's like, they're trying to get the Muppet show back together at the Muppet Theater, which is, of course, El Capitan Theater for us Angelinos.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that she's just plays this like, sorry, I'm going to curse, this like hard ass producer that's working with Kermit. And she's just like, I'm going to cancel you, frog. She keeps calling frog.
He is a frog.
I know.
Kermit the Frog. Oh, I love her. I'm more familiar with Parks and Rec. So I always
She's
know
been
her
in a
as-
lot of things.
I see her face popping up everywhere, but I
she's a
know her
busy
from
girl.
that show, so I know her as Leslie Knope's best friend. But yeah, I love it. They're too cute. I can't deal with them.
She's a cutie.
Ann Perkins.
Yes, Ann Perkins. Yes, Leslie Knope's best friend. Anyway, thank you, producer Ryan, for that. All right, next up we have our predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I've been waiting for it.
You have. You go first.
All right. So I have said from the very beginning, I don't trust Amanda. So I think that her heart's not really in it. And of course, it can't be in it because after all, you started this relationship on a lie. So how sturdy is it? I do think that she's going to break Edie's heart, but I think that it's going to send Edie on a journey that she needs, a journey of self-discovery and a journey of what Edie wants. So that's Edie. Next, I think that Tim possibly may have a thing with Julia, and I think that's going to rub Edie the wrong way. However, they've been leading up to it, and Julia is a free woman now, and so is Tim in a way. And then for Roxy, that's kind of the question mark. We've seen her share her story, and we've seen the support. We've also seen the backlash. I'm hoping that things just go up from here, and what I think could possibly happen is that Nick will try and slap her with some sort of slander suit or something like that, and maybe Edie will defend her. But yeah, those are my biggest predictions.
We
Had a
share
lot.
we share the same predictions pretty much. I do think Amanda and Edie are not going to work out. I just don't. I don't think it was planted in a healthy bed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of hiccups there. I kind of wonder if Julia. I really like Donovan. I think
liked
I'm in
him
denial.
too.
I don't want Donovan to go away.
I liked him too.
I don't
thought
know
he
if
was good
that's a
for her.
strong prediction that I'd like him to stay. I don't want him to go. I like him a lot. I think they're really sweet together. It's nice that she finally has something, authentic. And I mean, if you really jump back and think of like Julia episode 1 and 2,
Oh yeah,
it's come a long way,
she has.
right? Like
Completely
very different
woman.
behavior.
Yeah.
And if that is the case, I think she's going to win the kids over.
I don't know. I think she has an issue with word vomit, and she has an issue with saying things
Who
that
doesn't?
she really shouldn't.
Story of my life.
I mean, it is a thing for a lot of people. I definitely have dealt with it. However, in the midst of doing that, she has really, I think, hurt the daughter. So it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back from that. But I love Donovan
I mean,
too.
she's been nothing but nice though.
She
to
has,
the daughter.
but
Like, it's not like she's done anything wrong.
no, but she compared the deaths of their mother, and I think that was where she should have respected her and left well enough alone. But she really wanted to be with Donovan, and I
think
hope they
all
work out
she was
too.
saying is, I understand I don't have my mom too. I think the girl took it as she was comparing the deaths of their mother, but clearly they were not similar. They just both don't have their moms anymore.
Yeah,
Which is it's not a comparison. It's just like, I understand. I wish I had my mom too. I don't feel like Julia did anything wrong. She maybe could have chosen her words more delicately.
exactly. I don't
but she
think the
didn't-
intention was
yeah.
off. I think it was how she delivered it, which is something that makes Julia human, and she's been dealing with this whole season.
Yeah.
So
For real. I hope Roxy and her arch nemesis, I hope that this scenario is actually going to mend a lifetime of brokenness and hurt between these two girls, and they're actually going to team up together
yes,
and rekindle this like friendship that could have been their whole life, and instead they were kind of pinned against each other. And
I love that.
yeah, I hope they'll kind of battle Nick together
Yes,
and find sisterliness.
yeah, women standing together.
She needs more sisters. She doesn't have enough.
Right. I mean, I love seeing women stand together.
Yeah.
So that's what we need more of. I'm all here for it. But that is it for tonight's episode. Miss Bethanie Jean, where can we find you on social media?
Hey guys, please come find me on Instagram. My handle is Bethanie Jean Official. That's Bethanie with an IE.
And you guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at PrincessCTV. Again, we will see you on Wednesday, February 26th. The finale is Saturday, February 22nd. It's a two-parter. Stay tuned. See you guys later.
Bye guys.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.